Is it different for you now as a Catholic on stage than it was before your conversion to Catholicism?
To begin to, well, you don't know, but the answer to every question is Jesus, right? In this time of Pentecost, I call on the Holy Spirit in the dressing room because my personal artistic journey and the circumstances of the play and my life are all happening backstage. They're all happening backstage. So how do I do what I'm supposed to do when I go on the other side for the people in the audience? I pray and I fight, those parts of me that are constantly at odds, at war with the art. The art occurs when I'm in front of you on the stage, but it's also occurring in the human being behind the set, getting ready to go out there. It's all this person creating this character, this event, this moment for you. And my desire to do that has begun to distill down to, why do you want me here now, God? How can I do this for this relationship that you and I have, and how can I do it for those people that are out there and the people that I work with, the cast members, the crew. My family's coming, my children are coming this weekend. That presents a whole different audience, so it presents a different relationship. I begin to realize that their relationship with this play, with this person who's doing this play, is critical. It's timely. And for me to be able to focus on all of those circumstances, I believe is the gift that God has given me, to the struggle, to focus on those circumstances, to bring that timeliness to my being a part of the circumstances in the play on the set. That's not convoluted, but that's how I'm working. There's a reason. There's a Jesus reason why I'm doing this play in this city at this time for these people that are in this theater right now. I don't know what it is, but I trust and I believe, and I have proof in my life that that's what's going on.
Like St. Paul said, whatever you do, whether in speech or in action, do it all for the glory of God, giving thanks to God the Father.
Right.
Yeah. Some people would say that a play or a TV show or a movie that does not have an explicit reference to Jesus can't really be considered an evangelizing tool. How would you answer them?
I would say that is vanity and that is hubris, and I would say one should be very careful that they're not playing God. God is bigger than big, and He knows hearts. He created hearts. He created minds. And I strive to be Catholic. And I can recount one event early in my journey where I was having a lot of challenges. Early morning, I was shooting this television series, Walker, and I was having a lot of challenges with learning about the faith, my family, and audience. Because I was using all of that angst, and I was pointing at people who were asking for autographs, and I was saying, I'm having difficulty signing autographs. All these people are coming up and asking for autographs. And I was verbally asking God about it. And this is literally what I heard. A voice said to me, what do you care how I get them to you? That's not your responsibility. When they come to you, you're supposed to tell them about me. I think that people are taking care of too much business who say that. Those individual people who are, and I'm hitting hard because I want it to be part of the discussion in the marketplace. That's the only reason I'm hitting it hard, because I know that they're genuine and they love God and they love people, and that's why they're saying it. But as part of the discussion in the marketplace, I say that my experience is, if I ask for help to be in conversation with God, then what I'm doing is going to serve God, and people are going to be attracted to me. And then I can say, the reason I'm doing this is not the reason that you think I'm doing this. Our good God wants me to attract you to Him. And this is how this works. You don't have all of the facets of this experience at your disposal. He does. Does that make sense?
It's very helpful, yeah. And it brings out that, we're just tiny players in an enormous, enormous divine plan. And, just as you have a mission to be a conduit to God for, say, a fan, they may have a grace for you in the divine plan.
Absolutely.
Has that happened to you?
Oh. It's such a world, entertainment, that actually all worlds are that way. What's happening with me is God never stops looking at us. God never stops trying to communicate. I'm convinced. So my decision to make a choice that leaves God out in my life causes me anxiety. I don't step out. I don't roll out of the bed without Christ. That's right. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that anymore. Something happened to me that last week, and I started thinking, you know what? The people who are on the front lines in this world, however you could interpret that, they need help. And I started thinking, that comes under the umbrella of part of the work. Christians are being persecuted and dying and moved out of their home. It just goes on. And babies live in filth, babies like our baby. There are people who are on the front lines that need help. So I need to help them on a daily basis. There are not enough people to do the work. Now, do I just pick up and go to Africa? Well, I think my bishop would take a hockey stick to my head, right? The way I can help is to become a better artist so that more people come see me. And then I can say, let me tell you something. There are people who need our help. They're doing the work. They need your help. In whatever station in life you're in. But just that concept that people work tirelessly. I just got back from Peru. I saw tirelessly to help people in this life. What are you doing to help?
You're also in the Bishops' Committee for which Bishops?
Oh, I'm a consultant on the Communications Committee to the Bishops' Conference.
Anything to mention about how you see your role in that capacity?
On a number of fronts, because not only am I an artist, but a teacher, and a father, and a husband, and God bless them, the bishops need help. They need help.
Tell me about what kind of help do the bishops need?
The consultants come from many walks of life. For example, Colleen Dolan, who is the Cardinal's communications director, is on the same committee. So, and there have been news anchors, on-camera news anchors, and then there are press people. What we do is we listen in on what's coming at the bishops as far as communications issues are concerned, whether they be international or national, or in Washington, or in their own diocese. And we weigh in with our expertise as far as, for me, an artist, a teacher, and a husband and father, to let them know in a timely manner what people might be thinking. So we'll get briefings on what the FCC has on their desk, what legislation is occurring on the floor of Congress. We'll have briefings from people who have done studies about what Catholics are thinking, and we'll weigh in as the bishops try to interpret this material with our particular expertise. They have an enormous job. A bishop has an enormous job, and so I can be a consultant to a bishop. This is what this means. This is, for example, when, let me see, how can I explain it? A movie comes out, or a movie is getting ready to come out, that is going to impact, the universal church. And the secular world is going to want to spin it or position it. What is the vision after the movie comes out? We don't stop people from making movies. Each diocese is its own, diocese. What would you say, Clarence, would be an interesting way of dealing with the people in the pew after this movie comes out? I can't discuss, because it's closed committee, but in that way, there's two things going on. There's probably more, obviously there's more, but one of the things is it's shaping me for something down the road. And the other thing is the bishops do ask and want to know, what professionals think, because they don't know how a movie is made. I guess the Holy Spirit moves us, to give us knowledge that we might not think we necessarily have. But there's ways that I can say, I think, look at it this way, Your Excellency. And then make your decision. You might want to have a sit down with all your priests beforehand, so that you can all pray, and then you can. But this is how it's impacting the people in the pew. This is how. This is what I think those producers are doing. And maybe this is an opportunity to, and use this as a catalyst for an initiative in your diocese.
And I have a question now about the democratization of the communications technologies, because now I can do stuff upstairs in my office, nothing on a professional level because I have no skill and no background, but
what's at your
12-year-olds can do amazing things
My daughter
now.
makes movies, yes.
So how is that now going to impact, I would say, pretend like I'm bringing this, as a bishop, I'm bringing this to the committee. And say, I just realized that 80% of our teenagers are making movies in their bedrooms, and 10% of them are attempting to do stuff that's promoting the faith or apologetics.
Mm-hmm.
I found a YouTube video by a 15-year-old in Wisconsin, he's since turned 16, who, just a kid in his room with a sports game playing in the background, sitting in front of his webcam, asking Catholics in the YouTube world to give him advice on becoming a Catholic, because he was interested in it, but his family is anti-Catholic.
My reaction immediately as an artist is, Bishop, find out where that guy is. Go bring in some lunch and bring him into your office. That is an opportunity for you to be right in touch. John Paul II had impacted me and is impacting me. He got on a plane all the time, and he went out. he came to see us. He came to see us. And here's this technology. This boy is coming to see you, Your Excellency. He's literally, he is perfect. He's perfect to me for the bishop to call him. I'm not kidding. Listen to what he's saying. Use him as a resource. Ask him all kinds of questions, ancillary questions.
How do you think that is going to affect now the future of your art? We've got now young adults and teenagers who are immersed already in creating media. How can we as a church foster the vocation of creative artists in these young people?
Just that, by creating environments that foster creative Catholics. I'm working with, beginning work with the congregation of St. John on a Catholic theater camp that is not solely about teaching theater, but more importantly, is an environment for discernment of vocation. It needs to speak to how can I be the happiest that I can be in this life? What's the answer to that? How do I discern why God made me? So we get actors and we ask this question: how do you know you're supposed to be an actor for God? And if you're not supposed to be an actor for God, What are you supposed to be?
Barbara Nicolosi was mentioning that the Church of Scientology in Hollywood has a whole outreach to people who want to be in the film professions, and they have workshops. It's not proselytizing directly, but they're bringing the people into their enclave for professional formation and very attractive how to sell a story, how to make the contact.
Yes.
And
Yes.
if
And
we've
so
got
this camp is to the purpose of not necessarily the industry, but to crying the gospel, because that's the whole point of your life. The point of my life is not to be a great actor. The point of my life is to tell people about Jesus.
the spiritual needs of entertainment and communications professionals, especially Catholics or maybe fallen away Catholics. Are there like three things you could recommend to church personnel?
Oh my gosh. I think for me, the first of all is that the day has to have a structure. It has to have a rule. Your day already has a rule, but is it designed so that you're in conversation with God or somebody else? When I went back to graduate school, I told people that I'm going to think of this as a young seminarian would think of it. So I'm going to try to structure my day with daily mass and prayer. There's a universal call to holiness, and you can't do it. You can't run a day without Jesus. I don't care who you are. Keep trying it and keep living the way you are. And I don't mean that as a warning. I mean, don't do it. Just don't do it.
So the primary thing here would be
Yes.
a structure that is focused on the presence of God.
Your founder. There's that film of him coming into the office in the morning, and as he sits down to the desk, he makes the sign of the cross. I've never forgotten that image of him. What's the second thing?
What about people who are, there's a study that was done this past year of young adult Catholics, and they self-identify as Catholic very strongly, but their commitment to church institutions and to Catholic life, church moral teachings,
Yes.
the discipline of the
Yes.
sacraments,
That's good.
that's not a reality for them. Being Catholic is.
Yes. I think that John Paul II said in the opening to Ecclesia in America that it's a person. It's not a religion. It's a person. Christianity is Christ. Seek the face of Christ. Ask for help with your relationship with a living God who never leaves your side. Never, ever leaves your side. Stop choosing to move through life ignoring this living God. That changes me. I stop listening with my intellect I know a lot of things. Stop using the word but. Open up your heart to the reality that God is the boss. You are not the boss. Yeah, but. I'm becoming bemused by that. Yes, but. In response, yes, but. When I say yes, but, it makes me sad because that's not trusting God.
Do you see any particular opportunities now for Catholics who are interested in theater and love movies and just media people?
Yeah, I see all kinds of opportunities. The need is to create environments for discerning the vocation. Being a sister requires courage and discipline and commitment, sacrifice. Love. So, what's the difference between that and being an artist for Christ? Nothing. So, examining those components or aspects will become very humbling to the religious and to the actor when they realize, oh, well, actually, I'm a coward. Of course you are, but that doesn't mean you can't learn courage. I don't live lovingly. Of course you don't, but that doesn't mean you can't grow in love. I'm a slob. Of course you are. That doesn't mean you can't learn discipline. Focusing on those 5 components alone in a discernment process. Will probably get the hair on your neck starting to stand up. The journey of an actor is a very intimate, vulnerable road. And in teaching acting, it can be it's a poignant theater to sit in a studio and teach young actors who desire something. They think they desire one thing, and they're confronted with a piece of great writing and an audience, and to see them hiding as we hide in life.
So in a way, your mission is bringing people out of themselves
to God,
mm-hmm.
right? In my studio, I am very blessed to have that opportunity. It's hard on young people to be confronted with the reality of how they're living their life. It's hard on adults. We don't do it. We do all kinds of things so that we never have to do it. Those poor souls that sign up for my class have to sit in my class and be confronted with the reality, the nakedness. And the circumstances of the play are wonderful for them to examine existential questions. You can't do great writing without examining the questions of the character's life, which means you can't examine the questions of the character's life without examining the questions of your life. And so you can't get up in my class without those 2 examinations.
Make it sound like a retreat.
Yeah. Maybe that's the way God is shaping it. Isn't that powerful, though? That those students, whether they succeed or not in the scene, that's not the purpose of it. The examination is the purpose. And maybe an actor comes out of that, but maybe a father comes out of that. A mother comes out of that. You know, a daughter who needs to talk to her mother comes out of that process. Same thing with the theater. In that process between the play and the audience.
Sounds like a key word would be transformation.
Constant transformation. I'm being transformed every time I do the play. Tonight, when I do the play. God's got a plan for me. I don't have a plan for God. God has a plan for me. Right? He does.
So listen. Yeah.
Listen. Oh my gosh, listen.
Yeah. Well, that's about as far as I can go.
Yeah, the ambulance is coming for you.
Yeah, well, we'll take care of you.